Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode at the Warehouse Underground podcast. This is episode number 10. I'm Ben, the host of the show, and joining me today is Cliff Hardesty. He is the vice president of Barcode Depot. Now, let me set the stage here real quickly. I'm a big baseball fan, and I used to play baseball a lot, very competitively. And I always loved it when there was a specific store that I could go to with people that I knew and trusted for all the goods that I needed for my baseball. Well, Barcode Depot is very similar to that, but in the world of warehousing for all things electronic, right? So selfishly, I am a customer of Barcode Depot, so I'm excited to have Cliff on the show to talk more about that, how it runs, what they offer, and all the benefits that they can provide for the customers, right? So with that, I'll bring him on the show, bring him on the stage.
Hey, what's
Cliff,
going on?
welcome to the Warehouse Underground, sir. Thank you for coming on. How are you?
Pretty good, man. Thanks for having me on. I've been looking forward to this. So I've been seeing a lot of your videos and stuff on LinkedIn. So it's an honor to join you today.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And so I'll get this out here so everybody knows. Cliff and I are both big Braves fans. And so at the time of this recording, it is very sad, the state of the Braves. So I'm happy to come on and do a podcast to brighten my day up because the Braves are just terrible right now.
Oh man, you couldn't ask for a worse start. But hey, we did beat the Phillies. What was it last night? 7-5, I believe. So against their ace.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you got to take the wins where you can. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a long season, but they'll get things turned around. I hope so.
I hope so. All right. So enough with the baseball talk. Just tell people a little bit about your background, Barcode Depot, how it came to be, and kind of what it's all about.
All right. So we are a family-owned and operated company, which is kind of a rare thing nowadays in our industry. Just because of merger and acquisitions, there's a lot of 5, 6 big players in our industry that have acquired small companies like ours through acquisition. But my dad, Gary Hardesty, actually founded our company back in 1996. At the time, he was working for a company called LXC, and LXC was actually purchased by Honeywell back in, I believe, maybe like the early 2000s or so. But he was working for LXC. He was like the second outside service tech or something for them. But he started Barcode Depot by selling one cable. I actually had a post about this on LinkedIn the other day. The first thing Barcode Depot ever sold was one cable. It was like a scanner cable or something. But and then we started doing repairs. And anybody that's been in the industry for a long time, you might remember an LXC 1280. It was this old like DOS unit. This thing was like pretty much like a boat anchor. It was massive. But I still remember being a little kid. Like there was this big like shop we had out back behind the house, and that's where he had like his repair shop, and that's where he had all this equipment and everything. I still remember like helping him. I thought I was helping him. Back then when I was like really young. But yeah, I mean, Barcode Depot has been a part of my life. I mean, ever since I was born. I mean, I was born in '95, so that's all I really know is dad working in the company. I really didn't even know what my dad did until I was probably like in middle school or high school, because it was such a niche market. I didn't know about RF hardware, labels, or anything like that. But so yeah, we started as a repair depot, and still are to this day. We still repair Zebra, Honeywell, Barcode scanners, mobile computers, industrial printers, mobile printers, pretty much of any type of hardware you'd see in the warehouse. We still repair that to this day. But as we grew, we built relationships with Zebra and Honeywell and our distributor Blue Star and ScanSource. And so we were able to help our customers help them with new equipment as well, right? So whether it was a new barcode scanner or mobile computers, whatever it might be. So But we also kind of thrived in that secondary market as well. So we could help our customers with refurbished equipment. So depending on their budgetary needs, right, they could go with refurb or like new or even new equipment. It really didn't matter
Yeah.
to us, just whatever the customer wanted. So I think that's one of the reasons people like working with us is we are flexible and easy to work with, easy to get a hold of, things like that. So, and then we kind of expanded into warehouse labeling as well, probably, I don't know, in 2015 or so. So we actually help customers with racking labels, staging signs, placards, anything, any type of sign label in the warehouse. We can pretty much do. So it's kind of a nice complementary good to the hardware. And I mean, I could talk on and on about the different partnerships we've created in the last few years since I've joined. Um, so we actually just became partners with Nexus AMR. And so we're going to be able to help customers now with talks around robotics and automation. So we're really excited about that. So um,
Now, how did
it'll
that
be really. Go ahead.
how did that because I know the name of the company's Barcode Depot, but
Yep.
there's way more there's way more stuff than that. I mean, it's way more um intense, I should say. Like there's a huge repertoire of things. So how did that happen over time? I mean, was that something where you, as the company, tried to kind of drive that to the different customers, or did you were you sort of was it in response to what was happening out there in the market, like the feedback that the customers were giving you and what you were seeing? Like how does that evolution of what's in demand happen inside of Barcode Depot?
Yeah, yeah, it's a great question. So I joined the company back in 2019 out of college, and I was learning the industry. I mean, right before COVID too. I mean, talk about just
Oh,
pure chaos in the industry and everything. But um, as I was learning more about the industry and stuff, I kind of learned that if we're going to be different, we need to be more of like a solutions based company, be more of a solutions provider instead of just some hardware vendor to our customers, right? Because there's thousands of different companies these um, our customers can work with, right? So it's like we need to kind of reassess what we're doing, and we need to be more solutions based. So um, and that's what I've kind of enjoyed over the last 4, 5, 6 years is building different partnerships with different companies. So like now we have a partner called Supply Pro, and so we're able to actually help our customers with like asset management. So what they actually make is an asset management locker. So a big issue in
mm,
the warehouse is if half a
yep.
million square foot warehouse might have $500,000 in RF
Yeah, yeah.
hardware, and there's not a central location to put it, right? I mean, people try different there's different solutions out there, but I mean, they're not great. But there's always that, you know, lost and theft and things
Oh, yeah.
getting accidentally knocked in a box and actually shipped overseas. Like we've heard horror stories about that. So what's great about the asset management lockers is the accountability with it, right? So all your shared RF hardware, laptops, radios, whatever it might be, whatever shared assets you have in the warehouse can be stored in that one centralized location. So um, that's been a real big hit. I mean, that's a huge pain point for almost every warehouse. So
Yep.
that's been a real popular offering and something we've been really excited about. So, um, and another partnership with, I'll name drop our software partner, Bullseye Computing. They've been a huge partner with us. So now we're able to help customers with WMS, inventory control software. So we always bring those guys in anytime we have an opportunity for that. So we work really well with them, and they kind of have the similar story to us and how we got started. So it's always
Yeah.
nice kind of working with a company that shares your values.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that alignment and just that synergy, just makes it like when you're on the same page with somebody else in terms of where you come from and what your values are and everything. I think it makes it so much easier to operate. And really, I think customers can kind of sense that too, that there's alignment
Oh
there
yeah,
and
and
there
it's
and then the cooperation
Yeah, and
there.
it's just the trust that we have, with each other. We know that we have each other's best interest in mind, and no one's out to, you know, screw you or any, what I'm saying? Like, I think a
Yeah,
lot of times in business, if you don't have that trust with somebody, it's just not a good relationship, So,
yeah,
we take our partnerships very seriously, and it's been great. I mean, kind of back what you were saying, about adding on these different offerings and things like that. It is a lot of times we bring on different offerings because we've sat down with our customers, talked to them, understand their pain points and things like that. So, that's kind of where like the asset management lockers came from, and other offerings that we'll get to, like the LED safety lights and things like that. But
yeah, yeah.
um, it's just sitting down, talking to your customers, understanding their pain points, and just making it happen, finding partners to help them with those issues, right? Because if you don't,
Yep,
someone else will. So,
yep. Now, in the and I've talked about this before on other podcasts, but in the warehousing world, there, like when people say a warehouse or they say a distribution center, that is a very broad term. It could be
mhm,
just massive, fully automated, huge FCs that are fast and big. It could be mid-level. There's a lot of private equity and family-run companies out there, and it could be a small little warehouse. And the
mhm,
needs of them may be completely different how they operate.
mhm.
But for Barco Depot, who is your kind of main customer? Is it that big giant fulfillment center? Is it kind of mid-tier, the small, or
Mhm.
is it really all of the above type thing?
Yeah, it's kind of all the above. Um, I mean, we work with 3PLs, big and small, but our main focus is in the warehouse, manufacturing facilities, and distribution centers. It's kind of our,
Yeah.
the vertical that we focus in. We get a little bit into retail and stuff, but not a whole lot. Um, but yeah, I mean, some 3PLs that have one or two locations, some up to have hundreds of locations. So obviously the size of the company obviously determines, their budget and what they're focused on, right? The bigger
Yeah.
companies are looking to, automation and robotics and things like that, how they can get an advantage over their competitors. And the smaller, mom and pop, I guess 3PLs are looking at, you know, some type of WMS, or they're, using some type of like inventory control system. And now they're ready to bump up to an actual like WMS and get the RF
Mhm.
hardware and things like that. So, but we can help with them, big or small. It doesn't really matter to us. They all use the same equipment. They all have
Yeah.
the same issues. And, we've seen it time and time again. So, um, and when we work with our customers, we kind of like to take that like be more of a consultant to them.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
kind of understand their needs, their wants, their budgets, and just to be flexible with them. Right? I think they really appreciate that. So.
Yeah. And we were chatting about that a little bit before the show about how the customer has kind of changed over the past 10, 15 years type thing. And I mean, I guess kind of have that question for you at Barco Depot, because I would think that if it is a customer that is a big company, a big well-known company, and they have big FCs or big DCs, they probably already have some knowledge in-house about some of this equipment. They may have an IT department that's very
Hmm.
knowledgeable type thing, but there are also many warehouses out there that don't necessarily have that. They have a little bit of knowledge, but they've got a warehouse manager or an ops manager and a sales department, and maybe there's a IT, but they focus mostly on kind of the ERP and the sales
Hmm.
side of it. So
Yep.
do you, I mean, do you find that a lot of your customers already kind of know what they want and everything that comes with it? Or, I mean, are you seeing people that kind of need to be coached through it and need to have that relationship and
Hmm.
more of that partner type thing going forward?
I mean, not to give some vanilla answer again, but it's a little bit of both. It's like some customers know what they want. And it's funny, kind of like the vernacular that people use in the warehouse, right? Like what we would consider like a mobile computer, like a Zebra MC93 or MC94, is technically a mobile computer, but people call it a scanner, a scan gun, things
Yeah.
like that. So a lot of times it's kind of funny, like someone will say, "Hey, I need some zebras," and it's like, okay, what do you mean by just zebras, right? It's like, do you mean the printers, mobile computers? Like, oh, hey, I need some scan guns or something like that. So it's a lot of like
Yeah.
understanding what they truly mean, right? Because there's so much, I guess, slang that they use in the
Oh
warehouse,
yeah.
right? So it's like, okay, well, scan gun can mean a lot of different things, um, but yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of both, right? It's, some people, they'll tell you like what the project is, what they're trying to accomplish. And we can come in with a recommendation of saying, we recommend these three products and this is why, right? The benefits to both. We're really not married to any manufacturer. We're very agnostic, right? So we can give our recommendations of saying, hey, these are the three most popular brands, or these are the ones that we recommend. This is why you would go with each one of these, and kind of let the customer decide. And really it's our job to inform the customer enough to where they feel like they're making an informed decision on
Mhm.
their, we don't want to be pushy in any way. We're not in it for a quick sale. We don't want to sell them anything they don't need or don't want, right? I mean, it's really there to understand their needs and their wants, understand their budget, right? What they're actually trying to accomplish with this equipment, right? So
Yeah.
that's where we come in, and that's what I enjoy doing, is understanding, um, what their needs and wants are, and how we can help and give our recommendations. And then some people will just say, "Hey, I need 12 of this, 15 of that, yada yada," and then
Send it.
it's just an order at that
Yeah.
point. So um, but yeah, I mean, it's like I
Yeah.
said, it's a little mix of both, but we'll take whatever. So
Yeah, but I mean, but when I think in some of the equipment that we are talking, like it's one thing if it's just okay, you need some labels for your facility or something like that. But when you
hmm
get into the world of scanners and printers and the whole thing, especially scanners, that the cost of that can really add up. I mean, especially depending on how many employees they have
oh yeah,
there and how many they want. So I
hmm
think it's you kind of help put yourself in the manager's shoes that's buying that. They've probably
hmm
got a boss and they want to be able to show them, yes, I did my due diligence. I got a different quote. Here is the pros and cons of each of these that are coming
hmm
from the experts. And this is why I decided we need to go with this solution. But
hmm
that's not really coming from them. You know, that's coming from you and your
hmm
expertise. You're just kind of helping them look like a hero
hmm yeah. Well,
type
and two,
thing.
it's
So
to
I think I would value that a lot.
yeah, and it's to give them, ultimately we're there to give them peace of mind in that
Yep.
purchase decision, right? Because they are investing hundreds of thousands of dollars in, this RF hardware, whether it's mobile computers, printers, mobile printers, whatever it might be, right? I mean, it's stuff that you really have to run an efficient warehouse, and we can be there for them through the whole life cycle, right? So um, we can help them with repairs when things come off, say like a manufacturer's contract or service contract. So we can really be there for the whole lifetime of that equipment, right? If they have old equipment, we can help repair it until it's time to refresh to new equipment. And another thing that we've added was we have a couple leasing partners that we use. So a lot of times people, they say it's easier to get an OPEX approved over a CAPEX. So I actually posted about this today on LinkedIn and just the pros and cons of it. So that
Yep.
just kind of goes back to the flexibility of, working with us, right? There's a lot of different options, purchasing options
Yep.
when it comes to buying this equipment.
Yeah. And I mean, you mentioned kind of you mentioned the repairs piece. And
Mm,
like this equipment, I know from firsthand gets broken a lot. It just
mhm,
either used or dropped or dragged or what have you. And nothing makes an employee, a warehouse employee, more angry than if they don't have access to their scanner that they like. This is mine. This has my number on it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people laugh at that, but they have their
Very
one
true.
that they like. And so if
Mhm.
it's broken and you have to, and we have to send it off to get it repaired, they're agitated when they're using the one that's not there. They don't like the way that works, or everyone is a little bit
Yeah.
different. So,
It is.
I know you
Yeah.
talked about your repair department, but how does that operate? I mean, I feel like that is a very good, you know, piece of
Mhm.
value that you can offer that would make me
Yeah.
feel good about purchasing scanners for those reasons.
Yeah, and so the way our repair process works is you would send in your equipment to our repair facility, and our technicians would evaluate the equipment, and then we give you a repair estimate to approve before we do any work. So there's no hidden cost or any hidden fees or anything like that, right? So whatever we quote
Yeah.
you is going to be a cost for your repairs. So once the customer approves that, our technicians get to work, repair it, ship it out. It's as easy as that, right? So we know the certain pieces of equipment we see the most or we have on contract, so we try to stock up on parts so we can have a fast turnaround time. Um, Normally, it's within the same week. If we get a piece of equipment on a
Wow.
Monday, more than likely we can get it out Thursday or Friday or early the next week at the latest. So it just depends on parts availability, but usually our technicians are
Yeah.
very quick to get things turned around because that's one of the reasons why people like working with us is,
Mm.
we have fair prices, quick turnaround times, easy to get a hold of, great technical support if they ever have a question with a device. And if, for whatever reason, something's not working like it's supposed to, obviously we're going to warranty it for at least 30 days and they send it back to us. Figure out what happened and send it back to them at no charge. So
Yeah.
I think that's, one of the reasons, people like, working with us and we have so many repeat customers when it comes to the repairs.
Where do you find these techs to do this? I mean, because I think like you get all different types of scanners. It's not like you have just one.
Hmm.
So how do they get qualified on being able to repair different
Hmm.
ones? I mean, do
Yeah,
they go through a training?
luckily our guys, they've been in the industry for a long time and they've had experience at previous companies or they've learned the equipment through just being like just a regular bench tech, right? Like it might have been their first or second job and they've have probably 10, 15 years of experience now, so they've seen a little bit of it all, right? So we have one guy that mainly focuses on like the Honeywell stuff, one guy that focuses on the Zebra stuff, and they both work on the printers and things like that. So but yeah, it's just a lot of just hands-on trial and error knowledge, um,
Yeah.
from back in the day, and they just have a go-getter attitude, and they have a you know hey let me hey let me try to repair this if it's something they haven't seen before, right? It's like, is there parts available? I think I can do this. At the end of the day, a lot of that equipment's all about the same underneath the shell, right?
Yeah.
With ribbon cables and flex cables and this and that little bitty screws. So um, they're great, right? I mean, they've probably repaired thousands and thousands of pieces of equipment. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah,
They just
they've
like
been
put
great.
a blindfold on. Just put a blindfold on. It's part of their training. Can you do it blindfolded? And they can.
Yeah, yeah. What's funny is like that was one of my
Blood sport.
first jobs, like in the company. I remember repairing equipment, like soldering and repairing like motherboards, and I mean, so I've really done it all ever since. I mean, growing up before I was even like full time at Barco Depot, like I've done it all. So kind of gives you a better perspective, I guess, when you're getting close to, I guess, running the company. So
Yeah.
when you've kind of done everything in the business, so it kind of gives you a well-rounded knowledge of I guess everything that goes on.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, you spending your Friday nights as a kid repairing scanners and the whole thing. You got to earn your stripes, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, I've
Now,
definitely
let
paid
me
my
ask you
dues.
this question. So, I come from the ops world, you serve warehouses, the whole thing,
Mhm.
and most facilities out there are trying to turn around orders as fast as they can to their customers. That's just what the customer expects these days. Call it the Amazon effect, or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it. Um, how important is that for you in this industry? I mean, do your customers still expect that like quick turnaround time? I ordered it, I want it, or are they kind of ordering in bulk more ahead of time, and so they're
Yeah.
comfortable with like a longer lead time? Like, what do they expect,
Yeah.
and what are you kind of delivering to them in terms of
Yeah.
ops performance at Barcode?
So again, it's a little bit of both, right? It depends on obviously the company, the project, where they're at in that project, right?
Yeah,
Um, so it just depends. A lot of times, some companies are better at planning than others, so they're okay with um, 3 or 4 week lead time. But what we try to do like early in the process is kind of preface with what we're expecting the lead time to be, right? It's like, let's figure
yeah,
out the timeline for this opportunity. If you think you're going to be ordering this equipment within a month, let us look at the lead time. So once we get a PO, yep, it'll be available in 1 or 2 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, whatever it is, right? So there is, we try to be upfront with them about that.
yeah.
So, um, but eh, I mean, God Almighty, I mean, during COVID, I mean, we were seeing 12 to 16 week lead times, and that was
Oh,
just terrible, right? I
ouch.
mean, people couldn't wait that long. Uh, and that was just like for the RF hardware stuff that we sell. And I mean, I talked to some general managers and ops managers that were waiting over a year for certain forklifts.
Yep.
So
Oh,
that was just a crazy time for
oh, yeah.
just
No,
for
I
the lead
remember
times
that.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
luckily
I
it's
remember.
down.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I remember being in the market during COVID for a reach truck, and
Mhm.
I remember I won't name the vendor, but I was asking about the lead time, and he told me that at that time, 18 months. And I said, 8 to 8, I mean, that's like 2 budget cycles away.
Yeah.
I can't do that now. So
Yeah.
he's like, that's just how it is. So it sounds like it wasn't just forklift or reach lift. It was just kind of across the
Eh,
board. All industries were hit
yeah.
by it too, even you.
Yeah, it affected everything. Yeah. So, but to get back to your point about the lead times, I mean, if it's something that we have in stock, then obviously it ships out that
Sure.
day. Um, if if it's something that like our partner has or distribution has, then it just it'll ship out in 1 to 2 days or something like that. So, a lot of times lead times are not a big issue unless it's something like a real new piece of equipment that's just dropped by Zebra or Honeywell. Um, and then it might not be available yet. So we usually tell the customer, it's like, hey, if you want this piece of equipment, it's going to be, maybe 6 to 8 weeks or something like that. So, which isn't too bad
Yeah.
compared to what it was back during COVID. But um,
Yeah.
I will share this one quick story with you, Ben. I think it's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
And
Please.
one of the reasons I think people like working with Barcode Depot and find value in us. So last Wednesday, I believe a local customer here in Atlanta called us. They were kind of in a panic. They had like a multi-million dollar automation project that was about to go live this past Monday and Tuesday, I believe. And they kind of had this bottleneck with some Zebra printers, and they couldn't find them, and they needed them like next day. And our contact called us kind of in a panic saying, hey, man, we need these printers like next day. Um, we have a lot riding on the line here. Like, can you help us out? And so I immediately hopped on the phone, called every local partner that I knew of in the like Metro Atlanta area and said, hey, man, do you have this certain printer? My customer's
Gotta
kind of
have
in
it.
a bind. We need it like next day.
Yep.
And so we were actually able to find 4 of these printers that he needed from a local partner. And
Nice.
so we were able to, it was crazy how it worked out. But I was actually able to go pick them up on Friday and then go deliver them to the customer. And it was just crazy how it worked out. Right. I mean, um, But I just think that's a great story of like the value of working with a small company like Barcode Depot, right? We're going to do
Oh yeah.
things like that, go above and beyond for the customer. Like good luck getting a CDW or some other, large private equity backed
No.
company to do that, right? They're just not going to do it, right? So we,
Yeah.
we really value our customers, and like I said, we try to go above and beyond for them. I mean, I didn't get there to their facility until like 5:30 on a Friday, all the way down in south of Atlanta. So not the most ideal time to go, but hey, we do it for our customers. My wife wasn't happy with me, but I did it. Got home around 7:30 or so, but we got it done, and I just kind of had to kind of toot our own horn there a little
Yeah.
bit, but uh, I just want the world to know like that's kind of the service that you can expect when you work with Barcode Depot.
I love that story. Yeah, I mean, I love that. That's resourceful, scrappy, grit, whatever you want to call it. I mean,
Yeah.
that in my book, that goes a long way. And you're right.
Hmm.
You always find that from big, giant, well-known companies because
Yeah.
they don't have to. They they
Yeah.
don't they don't they don't have to do that. They don't bother with it. But yeah, if
Hmm.
you want to be very nimble, and in this day and age, you need that. I mean, you need that,
Yeah.
especially in the ops world, warehousing world. There's just so much
Hmm.
up and down and changes and flexibility that you have in
Yeah.
your own operation that it's very good when you can have a partner that can roll with that,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
that can
Yep. And
solve that. So
yeah,
love
we
that.
want to be our customer's first call, right? When they need something, even if it's something that we don't necessarily do, or it's not in our, I guess, bread and butter, as you would say, we'll find an answer, right? We'll find a
Yeah,
partner. We'll point you in the right direction, right? We're never going to say, nope, sorry, you're out of luck type of deal, right? It's always like, we always just kind of have that scrappy go getter attitude of, yep, let's figure this out, right? I think at the end of the day, we're just problem solvers. So,
love it.
um, yeah.
Love it. All right, so now the big point. You have a podcast. I
Yeah.
have a podcast.
Yeah.
I have seen your podcast. I have heard your podcast, and it's very good.
Thank you.
What's that like? Where did that come from? And how, and what's that experience been like for you and your team at Barcode Depot?
Yeah, it's been great. Me and our business partner, Jeremy Hess, he co-hosts the podcast with me. He's from Bullseye Computing, who I was talking about earlier. And, we thought it'd be cool to just kind of put our brains together. Like he comes from the software side, I come from the hardware side. So we thought, co-hosting a podcast together, kind of putting our expertise together would be a really cool um, way to kind of synergize, I guess, our expertise and put that in a podcast.
Yep.
So, um, yeah, it's been great. I mean, I could, some people say I have the gift of gab, so I can just talk forever. So podcasting kind of came naturally for me because I just enjoy talking to interesting people and just having good
I
conversations,
do too.
so
Yeah.
it's, it's great. And I think it's a great like value, mutual value for the host and the guest on the show.
Yep.
So I think it's a
Yep.
true win-win for everybody. And I just trying to build a presence on LinkedIn. I knew we were going to do a video podcast to post on like YouTube Shorts, or post it on Spotify, put it on LinkedIn. Just trying to get the word out there about us, because there's a lot of upfront cost with a podcast, as you know. I mean, your equipment and
Yeah.
everything, but it really just takes your time. I mean, it takes a lot of planning, to do
Yeah.
it right. But I mean, once you got everything, and I mean, it's just, getting a guest on, talking, right? Try to provide some value to your audience. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And I
been a
and
lot
I
of fun.
found too, it's like, not everyone, like sometimes you may have a guest on and everybody wants to hear from them. Other times you may have
Hmm.
somebody and they're not appealing to a broad audience, but for
Hmm.
that specific niche that they are talking to, it's very, very value added. It's very important. So if you have a podcast, like I have a podcast with automation or a WMS or AI. Well, not everybody cares about those things, but the people that do, they're definitely going to tune in and listen,
Oh
and they
yeah.
really so
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think these podcasts are great just in the warehouse industry.
Oh yeah, me too.
Anybody that's researching a certain topic or whatever. I mean, there's so many different resources out there now to, you know, become more knowledge rich, I guess, in a certain
Yeah,
topic. I mean, the stuff we're talking about is super niche, right? Not everybody, if you're out, you know, if you're not in the supply chain world, you don't even know really what we're talking about. But if you're in the day to day, like yourself or an ops manager, general manager, I mean, you understand the stuff we're talking about and the pain points that
that's right.
we're addressing. So it's, you know, it's definitely hitting home.
That's right. If you want broad podcasts, you just listen to the Tiger Team show at the Warehouse Underground, right? Selfish plug there. If you want niche,
There you
you
go.
listen to the very professional podcast like we're doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So,
So, but
well,
yeah.
where can people find out more about you and Barcode
Yeah.
Depot, and what do you got on the horizon? I mean, I know you're out there at the shows and on LinkedIn,
Oh, yeah.
like you talked about, but what's coming down the pike?
Yeah, so you can find us at bcd4rf.net. That is our website. You can follow me on LinkedIn, just Cliff Hardesty. You should be able to find me. Barco Depot, we're on LinkedIn as well. Try to stay active there with just different insights and things that are going on in my day to day. And so, yeah, I would definitely, welcome a follow on there. And, trying to just build a presence for myself there on LinkedIn. So, and then you can find our the Warehouse Insider podcast on Spotify as well. So you can find us on
Awesome.
there, and we've already done a few shows in 2025, and then we're looking at doing some more down the road. So you might see us at an industry show sometime down the road. So
Cool.
we're excited to hit the road and start attending some more shows and see where it goes.
Cool. Well, very cool, my friend. Well, thank you very much again for kind of
Yeah,
coming
man.
on the show and chatting with me. And like I said in the intro, I'm a customer of Depot. Like I've used it for a lot of stuff, and I can vouch for everything that you said about the quality of product and the service and relationship. All very good things. And so I hope others out there can share in that sentiment that I have. So thank you again.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for having me, Ben. I really appreciate it. I hope your audience got some value out of this.
Good. All right, man. Well, we'll go Braves, yeah, and
Go Braves.
hopefully they can do something.
Yeah. They need to, man. Slow start. So, but
All
anyways,
right.
thanks
Well,
again, Ben. I appreciate your time.
you got it, Cliff. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
And
All right, guys, that concludes today's show. Thanks again for Cliff and Barcode Depot for coming on. Some very cool stuff with them, and a very good foundation of a fantastic relationship that you can have with a very critical supplier. So I really appreciate him coming on the show. And with that, if you are interested in more about what's going on out there in the warehouse world that is in a not professional manner, I don't want to say not professional, but more in a lighthearted manner, check out my new show. It's the Tiger Team at the Warehouse Underground. And as always, please sign up for the community in the message boards there. Lots of cool stuff, events, content, you name it. I think you guys will really like it. Right. So with that, I will see everyone at the next podcast next week. Thank you.